Rikers Island. It happened between prisoners who managed to arm themselves with makeshift weapons, and it was all caught on camera. And tonight there are serious questions why it took corrections officers more than an hour to intervene at a place that has a history of similar problems. Investigative reporter Sarah Wallace is here now with more. Sarah.
Well, Liz, it is a legitimate question, and it's one we put to the man who represents correction officers. He says this incident is symptomatic of staffing cuts that are putting both officers and inmates at risk everywhere on Rikers Island. Who knows what set it off, but in just minutes, there's chaos in a housing area at this Rikers Island jail, GRVC, 2 weeks ago.
We're looking at multiple inmates involved in a melee where they're throwing chairs at each other, mops, broomsticks, handles, hot water.
Norman Seabrook is the president of the Correction Officers Union. The obvious question, why isn't anybody breaking this up?
Well, because we don't have the staff to break it up. There's only 4 correction officers there, 3 correction officers and a supervisor. And that is not enough to quell that situation. There's nobody behind them right now. So those 2 officers go down there and there's 40 inmates fighting. What do?
The union has complained about cuts on staffing in all of the jails. This as inmate violence in jails like GRVC is escalating. In 2011, 180 officers and inmates were seriously injured there. In 2012, it went up to 201. Slashings and stabbings went from 35 to 71.
They're still going at it. They've been going at it for about a half hour.
In this brawl alone, 1 staff member and more than a dozen inmates were hurt.
As you're seeing one of the victims, he's all bloodied, as you could plainly see, and he's been assaulted. And you know what? He's trying to get away now.
Take a look at these photos. Besides the inmate whose face was beaten, this one's neck was slashed all the way across. This one's stomach is gashed. And one inmate reportedly lost his eyesight after being gouged with a broomstick handle. This shank was recovered after the fight, which lasted nearly an hour before reinforcements arrived. Some of these are probably bad guys, but some of these inmates are adolescents. They may not be doing anything.
Oh, yeah. Inmates are suffering at the hands of other inmates.
So it's just out of control.
Absolutely. And it's going to continue to stay out of control until we put this in control the way it's supposed to be.
The correction department claims the housing unit was fully staffed, but adds there is every indication that the situation could have been handled differently and that this incident went on far too long. Every issue, they add, will be thoroughly addressed to prevent a reoccurrence. By the way, 32 inmates have been disciplined as a result of that fight, and some will face criminal charges. Liz?